Hello and welcome to another edition of Another Book Review. This week I'll be reviewing Legacy of Ashes, The History of the CIA by Tim Weiner. I'll talk real briefly about the author, go into an overview about what the book is, talk about what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and who I'd recommend the book to, before finishing up with what I'll be reading for next time. Tim Weiner is a journalist. He's written 4 or 5 books. This is the first of his stuff that I've read. He is primarily a writer for The Times as well as the Philadelphia Inquirer. He has won a Pulitzer Prize and I think this book, Legacy of Ashes, won a National Book Award. So he's very well known and very well respected in the industry. And I will say this book is basically a 500-page history of the CIA from the founding out of the old OSS, which was a wartime intelligence agency, to a peacetime agency, the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, during the Truman administration. And that is the book, and it is very, very well researched, and I think he interviewed hundreds of current and former CIA officers, as well as going through thousands of documents that were declassified and declassified to get you a real strong sense of what the CIA's mission is, what countries they have been involved in, and what they were doing in most of those countries. From the beginning, it was founded to fight communism, really, and that kind of spirit took hold of them up until the end of the Cold War, and from that point forward, there was a little bit of a flailing around for a identity and kind of a target for next. And so, to me, the book is broken down in a really fascinating way. He takes kind of each president that the CIA director serves and kind of goes through the crises or successes as they may be under each one of those presidents, and you get a really good sense of work that the CIA has done in all these countries and really their interaction with the president and how the feelings of the president may influence their day-to-day efforts, and how it is kind of a political machinations that are going on, and how much power the director has at the time, and how well or how bad a good job it does. It's just a very, very good total history of it. If you're interested at all in the subject, I highly recommend checking it out. I think and the other good thing I really liked about it is Weiner writes in a very, I guess, matter-of-fact or understated way. He avoids hyperbole. He doesn't really go in very hard on some of these things. When you look at some of the numbers, I didn't realize going in that the CIA had some access to the Marshall Plan, the post-World War II plan to kind of rebuild Europe, and they're kind of skimming of some of those funds. But I think at one point in the book, he says, if you take all the money that the CIA has spent to date on anti-Soviet technologies, spy satellites, spy planes, it approaches $250 billion. And he just kind of drops these nuggets in here that he does it in a very understated way, but when he does kind of talk numbers, they really pop out at you. And I think he has a lot of sympathy for the work of the CIA, but it doesn't stop him from holding their feet to the fire and holding them accountable, which I appreciated. So it did feel a very balanced approach, and there is a lot of things in here I didn't know before reading the book, which is, to me, kind of the mark of good nonfiction. I kind of kept going through it because it is a propulsive read, because you want to get to up to, I think the book ends in 2007, so you get everything from, again, the founding to up into really the Iraq War. And if you're a history buff at all, American history, I definitely recommend checking it out. I think the one or two things that I didn't like about it as much, there's no cast of characters. Would have been nice to have like a glossary of important characters. There is a part in the book where there's a black and white photographs of the directors of the CIA and the presidents that they served, but I would have liked to maybe have gotten some more cast of characters, 1 or 2 pages of kind of the major folks involved. That was probably the biggest thing. I can't really think of anything else. His writing style may, if you're looking for something more flowery, that it may kind of leave you wanting. I think, though, that served the work. I think, too, there's some of these things in here. Watergate is a good example. Vietnam, they could have really, they do have their own works, and so he does a good job to me of summarizing those things. But if you're someone who wanted to learn more about General Noriega, for instance, and the CIA's relation to him. You may be kind of, if you go into this with wanting only like one specific subject, you may not be totally wowed by what he does, because it is a 500-page history and he's covering 60 years. And so I think he does a good job of summarizing things, but you may be left wanting if there's one or two parts of that time period that you're interested in more than others. But I think he did a good job for the goal that he was set out for. And yeah, Legacy of Ashes, Tim Weiner. I definitely would recommend this book if you're interested at all in the government, how it works, what the CIA does, what their mission is, why they sometimes can't complete their missions, where mission creep kind of sets in, their inability really just to do the function of gathering human intelligence, and why they may not be as good as other countries. It's all in there, and I think it's a fascinating read. I would recommend it to people who are interested in that. This, to me, book actually pairs pretty well with the Fifth Risk by Michael Lewis. I think if you read both of those books back to back, I think you kind of get a wider understanding of kind of the political spectrum in the country. But yeah, that's Legacy of Ashes. Next time I'm going to be rereading, because I read it a long time ago, but I'll be reviewing the author-preferred version of American Gods by Neil Gaiman. So that should be coming pretty soon here. So till next time, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll leave my Twitter link in the description below in case you want to check that out. Till next time, bye.